Welcome back to the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Nolan Jamber. Today, it's pretty quiet in sports. Very quiet time in sports. The play-in starts. That's really all we can really talk about as of news. Yeah, there's some baseball here and there, but today we're talking mostly basketball. Talk about the play-in from yesterday, how that went, the games today, how that's gonna go, how I think it's gonna go, and then we're going to the Charlotte Hornets. We'll talk about them later. Then we'll talk about the Tigers, the Detroit Tigers again. Team, I just so much to cover about that team. And then in the third segment, you'll have to wait and see. Nah, I'm just trolling. We're going to talk about the third segment is the NIL, the downfall of college sports. We'll talk about that in the third segment. But before we get into all of that, tips and donations. Tips and donations are a great way to show that you guys care and like the content that we put out. So by tipping and donating, by doing so, it means you guys care, and that means the content we put out is the best that we possibly can. And by you guys tipping and donating, it shows you guys care. So if you do want to tip or donate, if you're not in the live stream, the link's in the bio description in the video, YouTube video. And if you're in the live stream, super chat and sticker is the best way to do so. Even if you don't want to, donate or tip, leave a comment. Comment section of the YouTube video or the live stream comment section. I'll see that right away and get to that. If in the YouTube, I'll see that after I upload it, and then I'll answer that in the comment section. So feel free to do that. And like I said, if you do want to tip or donate, which is always much appreciated, if you're in the live stream, super chat or stickers. If you're not in the live stream, the links in the bio and description are the best way to do so. With that being said, let's get into the first segment of today, which is the NBA play-in so far. We got two play-in segments. We got this one, the play-in last night and tonight. So let's talk about it. So last night was the first round of the SoFi play-in. And it was a pretty good games. One of the games was actually, I'll say one of the games was good. The other one was not. We'll talk about the not good game. The Hawks versus the Magic. For the past 2 weeks now, I've been saying, because the East has been set for about 2 weeks already, I've said the Hawks will lose to the Magic because they're not a good basketball team. Also because the Magic's defensive play is just so good. And I was right. You don't lose to a team by 35. The Hawks lost to the Magic 120-95. The Hawks are I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Hawks are a very mediocre basketball organization. Always have, always will. Trae Young is your star player, and no matter how good he does, he put up 22 last night. He put up exactly 22, 2, and 6. Or 28, 2, and 6, sorry. Those numbers alone just aren't going to do you very good come play. Yeah, they're good numbers, but when he's the only player on his team putting up 20-plus points, you're not going to win games. Everybody else on his team had 12 or less. He just surrounded by mediocrity. The Hawks are, always been mediocre. Their offensive play is not okay. Defensive play is only okay. Each year they have a very average record, literally a 500 record, 41 and 41, 42 and 40. They will just never. I'm just going on a Hawks tangent right now, but I just don't like the Hawks because they always make it to the play-in and do nothing with it. And then if they do make it out of the play-in, they seem to, lose first round because they'll be a play-in team, play either the first or second team, and get swept 4-0 or lose 4-1. It's just annoying to watch the Hawks make it every year, and just in a very weak Eastern Conference, and it's just really not fun to watch them play. Trae Young's fun. I love watching Trae Young play, but I just don't like watching the Hawks. The Hawks are just not a fun team to watch in general. The Magic, though, are a fun team to watch. They are full of young athletes, young all-stars, Paolo, the Wagner twins, Jalen Suggs. The team is a good young team. And last night, these young stars came out to play. First off, before I get into the stats, the Magic fans were chanting at the end of the game, "We want Boston." And I really do think they can take Boston to a lengthy series, 6 or 7 games. If they played like they did last night for a series against Boston, they could take them to 6 and 7 and win. But if they play, like they've been playing normally all season, with the losing record, their losing record team, they will probably lose in 5. Let's be honest. But if they do play like they did last night, they'll have a very, very good chance to beat the Celtics in 6 or 7. If not, take them to a lengthier series. But let's look at some of the stats for that game. Yeah, Paulo, almost a triple-double, kind of not really. 17 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, he's just so good. He's strong. His shooting isn't, his three-point shot isn't the best, but he's just a very physical athlete, and he's just plays the same way he did at Duke, and it's just physical and fast, and it works for him. Franz Wagner, one of the Wagner twins out of Michigan, double-double, 13 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists. Cole Anthony, coming off the bench and having 26, 3 and 6, I mean, that just kind of shows the Magic have a very young, deep roster. And you got guys like Cole Anthony coming off the bench, making big plays, dropping 26, and one of the reasons he had the most points in the team last night. And by dropping 26, he's the reason they won by 35. Without him, they would have only won. Hypothetically, if he didn't drop 26, it's like he dropped only 10. They would have only won by about 7-8 points. So having these guys come off the bench, playing so good, helping you win games is crucial for the playoffs when you have guys who need to take a rest. And the Magic proved that, and like I said, they could, if they play like last night, take the Boston Celtics to a 6-7 game series, and I would love to see. I'm excited to see how that goes. Then we got the Western Conference, the more competitive Western Conference, and last night, Memphis Grizzlies versus the Golden State Warriors. The Yawns are back, oh no. But the Golden State Warriors versus the Memphis Grizzlies may have been one of the best play-in games I've ever seen in my life. It was phenomenal from start to finish. It was, well, not really start. The Celtics, or not the Celtics, bleh. The Warriors were up by 18. And, everybody thought, oh, this game's already over. The Memphis Grizzlies come back within 4 for, towards the middle of the third quarter, end of the third quarter. And then it's a ball game. It's really tough, really tight. The rest of the game, it's very competitive. And, you got the guys like playoff Jimmy Butler. People would think, yeah, he's on the Warriors, maybe he's not there, he doesn't have it anymore. Yeah, he definitely still has it. When Jimmy Butler is dropping 38, 7 and 6 in a play-in game, yeah, I mean, he's never lost it. This is the team that could take Houston easily to a 7-game series. And I think if they do take Houston to a 7-game series, they can also make a way to the Western Conference Finals. I just think they will. The Warriors in the playoffs are just, no matter how mediocre people think they are a very good basketball team. Let's look at that 2022 team, for example. They were a 6 seed. No one thought they were going to make it far. They were the most underappreciated teams in the Western Conference that year, in the NBA that year. And they drive past through everybody, make it to the finals, play Boston, win. No one thought they'd make it in 2022. No one thought they would make it to the NBA championship. Not only did they make it, and they won with really nobody. Yeah, they still, Clay and Steph and the Splash Bros. And Jordan Poole was there as well. I love Jordan Poole at Golden State. But, I mean, no one thought that team still had the ability to make it far in the playoffs, and they proved everybody wrong, winning an NBA championship, another one, and they still have it. This organization, no matter play-in, playoffs, the organization finds players to, be better in the playoffs, and Jimmy Butler is the person they added, and he's one of the reasons they won last night. Like I said, 38, 7 and 6 from his first playoff game with the Warriors, and then Steph Curry, another Steph Curry performance, 37 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, Steph Curry is still phenomenal. He is still the greatest three-point shooter in the NBA, still one of the best playmakers in the NBA, and he's just so dominant. He's been in the league a little while now. He's been in the league a while, and people were, wondering, does he still have the ability to play this high-tier basketball that he used to have? And the answer is very much yes so. He is still just making plays, shooting just as well as he used to. He is still so dominant, and, he still got it. He can be the reason the Warriors make a deep playoff run. And then they play, like I said, the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies all around had a pretty good game stat-wise, but, they just made some interesting, silly mistakes towards the end. That 5-second violation, that cost them the game. They have this momentum, only down 2 points, and then they get a 5-second violation. You lose the ball, Warriors go down, score, put it within 5, and then only a 20-second game left, and they lose. I mean, you're in the thick of it. You have the ball, you're down 2 with 30 seconds left, and you get a 5-second inbound violation. That is just the worst thing that could possibly happen to you. That is the silly mistake that happened, and that is a coaching problem. That's why I say they should have never fired their head coach. A head coach, a A competent head coach would not let that stuff happen. He would have called a timeout. He would have, tried to redraw a new player or something. But these interim head coaches, firing these head coaches so late and leaving these interim guys, to run these plays in these deep, close game scenarios and close games, just not going to work. And that's what happened last night. Desmond Bane, though. Desmond Bane has been hooping all year. He had a nice 36-4 for the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant had himself considerably an off night. I wouldn't say an off night, but for Ja Morant, it wasn't, the best. 22, 3-3. I mean, that's off for Ja Morant. He normally drops, 30, 35 points minimum. Well, not say minimum, but he's having like 20, 25 plus. And 3 points under his average, just shows you an off night. And if he, got a few more points, I would have won. Jaren Jackson Jr., 18, 6-4. I mean, he's just proficient. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been good. He's been like that since college. He's been like that since Michigan State. He plays good defense. He's up for candidate for DPOI, and he's a phenomenal player. He's getting points on the board. He's helping the team win. Zach Edey in his first ever playoff game, play-in game, playoff, whatever. Double-double, 14 points, 17 boards, 2 assists. He did get blocked, by Desmond Bane, which is kind of crazy. I'm not sure how you let Desmond Bane block you, Gary Payton Jr. I'm not sure how you let Gary Payton Jr. block you, but if you've seen Gary Payton play basketball, he can jump high. He's freakishly athletic, and that block led to one of his 7 turnovers. Zach Edey had 7 turnovers last night, and for us, you can't be having that happen come playoff time. That's just not gonna. When you lose game by these close points and having 7 turnovers, you're one of the main reasons you lose that game because you lose control of the ball so much. That shows you have a lot to work on and a lot of the organization to think about come, next year. What are we going to do? They're still going to play in the 8 seed game versus the loser or the winner of the 9 and 10 game tonight. But will they win? I'm not sure. We'll have to talk about that in the next segment. That's all I got for this segment. Next segment, we're talking about the play-in tonight. Talk about, who's playing, who's, going to play, who's going to lose, win, all that, who's going to play Memphis, who's going to play the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference with the 8th seed. After that, going to the NIL, talk about that. We'll talk about some thoughts on that. Then we're going to Detroit, talk about the Tigers. We'll get back to all that right after the break.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Welcome back to the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Nolan Jamber. In the last segment, we talked about NBA play-in from last night, the results, what happened, how the games went. This segment, NBA play-in, but tonight we're talking about the games. Today we're talking about the games tonight. So I'll talk about that, who's playing, what I think is going to happen. Next segment, after this one, we're talking the NAL. After that, we're going to the Detroit Tigers, ending it off to put the Charlotte Hornets. Just because, they're an interesting organization. I want to talk about them. No one really talks about them. I want to talk about them for a little bit. Before we get any of that, though, tips and donations. By tipping and donating, it really means you guys care about the content that we put out. And by doing so, we will put out the best possible content so you guys enjoy it, enjoy listening, you enjoy watching. So if you do want to tip or donate, and if you're in the live stream, the super chat and stickers are the best way to do so. If you're not in the live stream, the 2 links in the bio description are also a good way to do it. Even if you don't want to tip or donate, leave a comment, live stream super chat in the live stream comment section. I'll see that right away. I'll answer that as soon as possible. And if you're not in the live stream, leave it in the YouTube comment section. I'll see that as fast as I can. I'll get to that as soon as possible. I love talking to you guys. It's my job, so I'll get to that as soon as possible. But like I said, if you do want to tip or donate, which is always greatly appreciated, if you're in the live stream, super chat and stickers. And if you're not in the live stream, do it via the 2 links in the bio and description. With that being said, let's get into the segment number 2. NBA play-in tonight. So we got 2 more play-in games tonight. We got the 9 and the 10 games. 7 and 8 were last night, both of them. Now we got 9 and 10s. In the Eastern Conference, you got the Bulls and the Heat playing for that 8 seed. And then in the West, you got the Kings, Sacramento, versus the Dallas Mavericks without Luka, because obviously they traded them. Still weird to think about. But let's talk about the Eastern Conference first, and then we'll go to the West. So, like I said, obviously Bulls and Heat, they're playing this game in Chicago, so it is a home game for the Bulls. So that's always an advantage, playing a playoff game. Just it's your home court. It's always a huge advantage to have. And the Bulls have been playing really good. Josh Giddey, for example, he's been playing phenomenal since All-Star break. I mean, he's literally an all-star player since All-Star break. And him getting traded from the OKC Thunder to the Chicago Bulls may have been the best thing that could ever happen to him. He wasn't getting as much playing. He wasn't really getting that much playing time at OKC. And with him being traded to Chicago, he became the starting guard for them. This, the heart of their team, I guess. And they have developed him so much into just a phenomenal playmaking point guard. He's not obviously the best shooter, but he does get rebounds and he does get, he passes the ball a lot and gets good assists out of it. He doesn't tend to shoot, like I said. He just likes making plays for his teammates. He finds he'll drive, kick it out. He finds open players to make good plays, and that's why he's been playing so good recently. You got guys like Matisse Thybulle, one of the top 5 picks in the draft this year. He should have been number 1. I'm very surprised he did not go number 1, and he fell pretty far. Obviously to the Bulls, who were very early in the draft. I believe they were a top 5 pick. If not, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But, I mean, he was projected, one of the first overall picks, and then he fell to the Bulls. And he's been having a great year. He's not, no rookie of the year player, but he's still having a great year nonetheless. He's helping this young Bulls team carve their way, and hopefully make it into the playoffs. But like I said, they are playing the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are the Miami Heat. They always tend to play well come playoff time, regardless of the situation that they're in, record-wise, who they're playing, doesn't matter. Yes, they don't have Jimmy Butler, one of the key assets of their team. But they don't. It's not like Jimmy Butler was the only reason they played so good and made deep runs in the playoffs. Bam Adebayo, huge center, huge asset for this team. One of the best centers in the league when he's healthy. Obviously, he's a phenomenal player overall. He averages puts up 20, 25 points a game, 10, 15 boards, averages like a double-double. Tyler Hero, one of the cleanest scorers in the game. He's strong, he's fast, he's physical, he can shoot well, phenomenal player. Duncan Robinson, another good forward for the Heat. I mean, he was a great player in college at Michigan, and that translated to the NBA. He's been a phenomenal player his entire career, college and NBA, and he's just a very pure and efficient player. Jamie Vasquez out of UCLA, second-year player, and he's really proven himself to be a good young star. He was in the Rising Stars Challenge, and he really kind of just made his mark there. People were starting to notice that this kid's a good hooper, and he's been a good player since college at UCLA. He's a phenomenal player, helped UCLA. He was basically the leading player for that UCLA Final Four team when they lost to Gonzaga. But regardless, Jamie Vasquez is a great player. But, you got some good matchups tonight as well. Bam Adebayo versus Nikola Vukovic, the center for the Bulls. It's going to be a great matchup nonetheless. 2 bigs playing, 2 really good bigs. Obviously, I do think Bam is better. So, it's going to be a tough battle for Vukovic to get boards and make plays in the paint. But it will be a fun matchup to see. And then you got Josh Giddey versus Tyler Hero. That's going to be a great matchup as well. Giddey is learning a little faster, makes better plays, but Hero's a better shooter. So it's going to be interesting to see how they compete against each other, what they play, if they're going to play tougher defense, who's going to play tougher, who's going to play if Giddey's going to play tougher defense compared to Giddey, Hero, who's going to play maybe more off ball, maybe give him to shoot because he's not the best shooter. But who are the things going to win this game? I do think, even though how well the Bulls have been playing, I do think the Heat will win this game. I think they're just overall a better team, and they will end up probably playing the Atlanta Hawks and then beating them as well to go to be the 8th seed to then play the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round. We got the second game tonight, the later game. Sacramento Kings versus the Dallas Mavericks. This game was in Sacramento, so obviously another huge help for the Kings. Being at home in the playoffs is always a huge help. Sacramento had some phenomenal players. Domantas Sabonis, easily one of the most underrated players in the league right now. He was phenomenal. He's been phenomenal the past few years, putting up great numbers, helping his team win games. And he's getting very little social media recognition for it. And he's putting up double-doubles, triple-doubles almost every night now. And it's like no one talked about it. He had the longest double-double, one of the longest double-double streaks last year. He had 70 straight games of a double-double. And in this year, it's like no one even wants to talk about it. It's insane how good he's still playing. He's going to be paired up against Anthony Davis, though. Anthony Davis, Hall of Fame center, phenomenal his whole career. Coming off injury, and he's finally ready to play again. And Anthony Davis wants to go in. He wants to win, beat Sacramento, to then go on and play Memphis. And if they go and play Memphis, they would win that game because I do think he's better than Zach Edey. And then that'd be a great matchup to watch, though. But Sabonis versus Davis is really the main card, really the main, the two main guys tonight. And I'm excited to see how these guys pair up against each other. The Kings do have DeMar DeRozan, though. That is a key factor for the Kings. I cannot see a single guard on the Mavericks. Klay Thompson, Dante Exum, Max Christie. I just can't see any of those guys pairing up against DeMar. DeMar has just been so good his entire career, playoff time, regular season. I mean, he's just a phenomenal player overall. He shoots well. He's literally the perfect guard archetype. He can shoot. He's played defense. He's big enough to where he can match up against forwards and still play well, even as a guard. His career in Toronto when he won a ring with Kawhi, it was him and Kawhi, not just Kawhi. Kawhi was obviously a huge reason they won, but those two being paired up was one of the best things that happened in Toronto. Though DeMar was obviously one of the key factors for the Toronto Raptors winning that championship. And DeMar being traded to Sacramento, he's helped them a lot as well. He's been there a few seasons now, and he's helped a lot. They're always in the play-in, but even when they make it in the play-in and lose out or make the playoffs, they still tend to play good basketball. So it's gonna be a great matchup tonight. Who do I think is gonna win? I do think the Kings will win. Who do I want to win? Probably the Dallas Mavericks. I do want to see the Mavericks win because see if they can actually win games without Luka. But as you can see, since he got traded, that's just not true. But I do think that I want the Mavericks to win, but I think the Kings will win. So it will be a great matchup, like I said, between Sacramento, the Sabonis and Davis will be a great matchup to watch regardless. And then the losers bracket, I guess you could say, if Sacramento wins and Dallas loses, Dallas would then go on to play Memphis, who I then think they would beat. I just think Anthony Davis is a better player than Zach Edey, and it'd be a great game in the paint, great game, and just low man wins, big man battle in the paint. Basketball, that's good basketball. Big man basketball is the best basketball to watch in my opinion. So that'll be a good match to watch. Even if the Kings lose, Sabonis is still better than Edey, another big man in another great big man battle. It'd be phenomenal to watch. I'm excited to see how that game goes tonight. That's all I got for this segment. Next segment, we're kicking it off to the college scene. Talk about the NIL. Talk about is that really ruining college sports. Talk about that. Then we're going to the Detroit Tigers and the MLB. We're going back to the NBA for the last segment. Talk about the Charlotte Hornets. We'll get right back to all that after the break.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Welcome back to the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Nolan Jamber. First two segments, talk about the play-in, the games happened last night. We talked about that. Last segment, talk about the games happening tonight, who's going to win, who I think is going to win, all of that. This segment, is the NIL the downfall of college sports? My short answer to that, yes. I really do believe that the name, image, likeness is going to be the downfall of college sports. I think that this agenda, we need to be getting paid these millions, signing these contracts for all this money. I think that will be the inevitable downfall of college sports. It's really just that simple. I mean, look, just literally the most recent example, Nico, last name I can't pronounce. Nico out of Tennessee, the quarterback. I still cannot pronounce his last name. I don't want to butcher it, so I'm just not even going to say it. But you all know who I'm talking about. He is a very mediocre first year. Yeah, he takes his team to the playoffs. Yeah, congratulations. 12 teams made it. If you weren't part of that, 12 teams made it. And if it wasn't for the 12 teams, you would have been in a very, if it was like the normal four playoff teams, make it the normal, the 1, 2, 3, 4 teams, he would have been in the very mediocre bowl game. That's it. But he made it because, they were against the top 12 team. And I just didn't agree with that, but whatever. So he has a horrible game against Ohio State in the shoe, and he decides, it's not me, it's the team. It's not me, it's obviously, I played good. It must just be my team so bad, I'm leaving. And his posse, his group or whatever, they decided, he's worth $4 million, and he needs to be getting paid $4 million or more somewhere else. They want to restructure his contract, which, by the way, is absolutely insane. There should not be contracts in college sports at all. Yeah, you can earn some money. You should not be able to sign contracts. They should set a minimum or maximum total a player can make for, their name, their image, or likeness. It should not be as much as they want, and they should not be signing contracts for it. It should be, okay, you can make this much at a set limit, and that's it. We can just pay you this much. Everything else, it goes to us. That's just actually insane that these players are getting paid this much money for all this. And going back to Nico, he's just not that good of a quarterback. I just don't think he is. He had, I believe, 26 touchdowns this year. 12 of them came from the first 3 games of the season. So let me put that in perspective. So, your first 3 college football games, maybe 4, are against, lower tier, lower level schools, to kind of warm your team up, get the blood flowing. And he's playing teams like Arkansas State, South Alabama, like Central Michigan, or just it's like one of your breakdown games. And when you have 26 touchdowns, and about half of them are only coming from that first 3 games of the season, and college football is a 12-game season, and by the end of that, by the end of the year, after those 3 games, you only had 14 more touchdowns, so 1 touchdown a game. That's just not a good look. That's not a good stat line to have. And he's demanding so much. He's demanding so much money for how much he is. How much he's really worth is not nearly $4 million. Maybe a few $100,000. Nowhere near $1 million. Yeah, he was good in high school. Yeah, he's one of the best quarterback prospects in high school. But that's high school. College football is a whole different level. And people just really need to understand that college athletes and high school athletes are very different. But there's a very, very few college players or high school players who are able to make the next step to college football and still dominate. You got guys like this incoming QB class, Bryce Underwood. I think he'll do good. I think he's going to be one of those exceptions. You guys got any Ohio State quarterback. They make the jump from high school to college. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. Or not Bryce Young, sorry. CJ Stroud. Justin Fields. All these Ohio State quarterbacks from high school to college are phenomenal. They make the jump to the NFL. and then just kind of, fall off a little bit. But like the NIL is just actually just, it's absurd these guys are making this much money. I mean, it's just kind of be nuts. Like, we're going back to Nico again. He leaves Tennessee because they're not restructuring his contract for the $4 million that he wants. And he wants to leave. He's going to, all these schools are looking at him, the schools like USC, North Carolina, Tulane, UCLA. I mean, a lot of these schools are looking at him, and they're saying, you know what, maybe Tennessee was right to get rid of him. Looking at his stat line, you can see, is he that good of a quarterback? No, he really isn't. He really isn't that good of a quarterback to be getting paid this much money. And he had the crystal ball from UNC with Bill Belichick, the incoming coach, obviously Patriots, dynasty coach, Bill Belichick. And he has the crystal ball via, I think it's 247 Sports. And the crystal ball basically means, yeah, he's going to go here or the team's going to sign him. And like about an hour or two, I believe, after that was announced, the crystal ball was, announced or whatever, they revoked it. They didn't revoke it, but then it's like that 247, they crystal ball was gone off the page. And that's kind of just shows that maybe, like UNC was thinking, they were probably talking to Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick, I would say, is one of the greatest football coaches of all time, possibly the greatest football coach of all time. And, Bill Belichick knows, how to coach a good quarterback. I mean, obviously they had Tom Brady, the greatest the greatest quarterback of all time. So he had Drake May for a little bit, but like, that doesn't count. We're talking about, and Bill, by the way, Drake May's a good quarterback. I'm not trashing him, but I'm just saying. He coached Tom Brady, the greatest football quarterback of all time. And he knows a good quarterback, and he knows that, yeah, Nico is not worth as much as, we're willing to pay him. We're not taking him. And they decide, yeah, okay, that's fair. Look at his stats, look it over again. Yeah, he's not that good. Let's just, not sign him. He can go somewhere else, whatever. And that's exactly what happened. They cut him, or they took his crystal ball away. They said, we don't want you here. And so now Nico is screwed because his team announced, they said, but the team said, like his posse, his group, his managers who managed him said, maybe we did put him in a bad spot. It was an article released earlier today, maybe late yesterday, said that maybe we did put Nico in a bad spot with taking him out of Tennessee and asking for so much money, because they realized that teams are going to look at his his play, his stats, and realize he's not that good of a quarterback to be getting this much money. He really isn't. But let's not talk about just Nico anymore. I feel like I'm talking about him too much, trashing him a little too much, but it's just my opinion. I mean, the NAL just in all sports, college basketball, transfer portal. I mean, yeah, guys, obviously I'm from Michigan State. I go to Michigan State University. So let's talk about, guys leaving the transfer portal, like leaving the team, NAL, for other teams. I'll talk, basketball. Xavier Booker. He was a five-star recruit out of high school, comes to Michigan State. He plays pretty good, honestly, his first 2 years. He doesn't get that many minutes his first year, his freshman year last year. He played good in those minutes, though. This year, he also doesn't get many minutes. He definitely improved, but not enough for Coach Izzo to, put him into these games where they need him. And he says, I'm going to leave. I'm going to transfer to UCLA because they offered him a good amount of money to go there. And just another example, the NIL. These guys are getting paid hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars to, transfer schools to go play for other teams. There's no loyalty in sports anymore. All these guys just want to leave, go wherever the money's at. There's no one wants to go to dynasties that have been dominant forever because they're good. They want to go there because of the money, and they're gonna keep leaving every time a team offers them more money, which is just horrible. I just don't like that. It's just there's no loyalty. Players just want to chase the bag, which is honestly completely fair. Because if you know that you don't think you're going to be cut out for, the professional level, MLB, NBA, NFL, go get as much money as you possibly can. That is completely fair. If you don't think you're going to cut it out in, the higher levels, the best levels of, the professional sport, go get as much money as you can in college, and so you can take that into the next step of your life. Have yourself set up with a few $1 million coming out of college, maybe 100, maybe, 10 million plus, whatever. And it helps set you up for success in the after your college career. I mean, NIL is definitely ruining college sports, in my opinion, and the transfer portal, all that. But for the players doing it, just to kind of make a living after college, I respect that. But if you're doing it just to, get as much money as possible, knowing that you can go be great in the NFL or the next level. I just think it's kind of weak that you don't want to stay and win championships. You just want to make money. If knowing you can get more money out of your, professional career than in college. But that's just my opinion at the end of the day. That's just my takes on it. That's all I got for this segment, the NAL. Next segment, going to the MLB, talking to the Detroit Tigers. After that, ending at the NBA, talking about the Charlotte Hornets. We'll get right back to all that after the break.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Welcome back to the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Nolan Jamber. First two segments, we were talking about NBA, the play-ins, how it's going so far, who's playing tonight. Segment number 3, last segment, talk about the NAL. Is it ruining college sports? Have my opinions on that. This segment, I want to talk about the Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Tigers are one of the best names, one of the best stories in MLB as of recent. Last year, they're down out of the playoff race I wouldn't say pretty late, but like right after the All-Star break. They're already out of playoff contention, playoff talks. They go on a nice, very, very good 17, out of 20 games, they win 17 of them, and they get put right back in the playoff race. They make their noise in the playoffs. They lose to the Guardians in a 5-game series, 3-1. Absolutely brutal, devastating. But it really does show the team has so much to play for. And they have so many stars on their team as well. They got pitching on the mound. Cy Young winner, Tarik Skubal. One of the best mittens, one of the best hands, best pitchers in baseball. Tarik Skubal has dominated last year and has been dominating so far this year. He's lost one game he's pitched in, and it was to the Los Angeles Dodgers in the first game of the season. That's it. And they barely lost that game. They lost by 1 run. And he just pitched phenomenal. And he's been pitching phenomenal the entire year so far. You got younger guys. You got Jackson Jobe, one of the youngest prospects we have, the Detroit Tigers have, and he's pitching phenomenal for them as well. You got some relievers. I mean, I'm going to say his name. People don't like him. I do like Kenta Maeda. I think he's a good pitcher. He has very iffy days, very on, very off. He's either hit or miss. And I do enjoy watching him pitch, but obviously, not everybody does. You got other pitchers. Jack Flaherty starts with the Tigers last year, helps them, get some momentum, gets traded to the Dodgers right before the trade deadline's over. He goes and wins the MLB championship, and then he gets traded back to Detroit. So in return, we won that. The Dodgers get a ring. They got the ring, but then what we got out of Jack Flaherty in the original trade, we got a few picks and a few guys. We kept those 3 guys that we got from Flaherty, and then got Flaherty back at the trade in the offseason to get him back. So honestly, it kind of worked out. We got 3 good prospects, and then we got Flaherty back. And let's talk about their fielding and hitting. So the Tigers, have not been hitting. Last year was one of the big struggles. And this year, it is not. They've been hitting very well behind the plate this season so far. Spencer Torkelson is one of the best hitters in the MLB right now. And I will say that again. Spencer Torkelson, one of the first picks in the 2020 MLB draft. He was hitting very poor last year. Got sent down to the minors. Lost his confidence. Came back up. Started hitting good. This year, through, I believe, 15 games, he already has 6 home runs. He's been hitting, his hitting has improved so much and so drastically through the offseason that, it's really helping the Tigers win games. He's hitting these home runs every other game or so with guys on base. He's hitting 2-3 run shots, helping the Tigers get up big leads. I mean, it's just a huge help for this. Other guys, we got Gleyber Torres back. He was injured for the first two. He got played the first 2 games of the year against the Dodgers series, and then he got hurt. We got it from the Yankees, but now he's back again and he's healthy. He's playing good again, which is really good to see. You got guys like Javier Baez who are playing very good as of recently. I love Javier Baez. I always have and I always will. People don't. I can understand why you wouldn't like Javier Baez. He, his batting could, he's got room for improvement to say the least. But his fielding and his ability to make plays in the infield is just so phenomenal that you cannot deny the fact that he's a great overall player. You got other guys. I'm going to say Riley Green, an all-star for the Tigers last year. I mean, Riley Green is still one of the best outfielders in the MLB and one of the best hitters in the MLB as well. He, whenever he's at the bat, I never fear the fact, he's going to strike out. I always think, he's going to make some good contact. At least if someone's on base, at least, move the batters, move the base runners, get them, move them, advance. Get him from first to second. I mean, I don't care. I just always have confidence in him making plays at behind home plate. And I love watching that. I love watching him hit. I love watching him in the outfield. He's very fast in the outfield. Sorry, stumbled over my words right there. But he's fit, he's fast, and he makes great plays. A few games ago in a series against the Twins, he made one of the best diving catches I think I've seen in a while. And, it never feels good when you dive because, you land on your body pretty weirdly. And he was able to, just get right back up, catch a few breaths, and he was ready to get back ready. He's a phenomenal player. He's a reason there was an all-star. He is a reason. Oh my gosh, I can't say this right now. There was a reason he was an all-star last year because he just hits well and he plays so well in the outfield and he helps the Tigers win games through his play on both sides of the ball. Honestly, he doesn't get talked about enough, but Jake Rogers, the catcher for the Tigers, he's a phenomenal catcher. I'll say that. He is the reason him and Terry Skubal, their chemistry together is so good. You cannot have a good pitcher without a good catcher. And Jake Rogers is that catcher for Terry Skubal. He hits, catchers normally tend to bat ninth in the lineup. And there's a reason he does. Well, I mean, Jake Rogers, he's not, he's a catcher. Catchers don't always have the best hitting. But a good hitting catcher is a great thing to have. And as of this year, Jake Rogers has been batting pretty well, batting around 200, and that's up from his average of last year. I believe it's like 230 or so, and that's up from his average of around 190, 200 last year. Also, his mustache is beautiful. It's a great mustache. But besides that, Jake Rogers is a huge addition a huge player for the Tigers. He's a brick wall back there. There's nothing by him. He's a great overall player, and I'm just happy to see that, the Tigers are doing so well with him behind the plate. Henry Malloy is a phenomenal player as well. Great outfielder for the Tigers. Helps them, he helps them when he needs to be there. He's a great hitter. He's been hitting well all season. And, I'm really enjoying watching this Tigers team. This Tigers team is a team that, made some noise last year. Is the first team in the NL this year to get 10 wins. And I'm just excited to see, even though they're losing to the Brewers, I'm pretty sure they won their first game against the Brewers, slaughtered them, lost yesterday pretty bad. And I believe when I checked earlier, they were losing like 3-0, 5-0 in the bottom of the sixth. So I'm assuming they're still losing. So we're going to lose this series, which does suck. But this Tigers team is something that I'm proud of. I'm happy to always, be able to sit here, watch the Tigers play some good baseball. And this is a team that I'm excited to see make the playoffs. If they can stay consistent, stay healthy, keep playing the ball they've been playing, hit the ball well, field, and play good defense that they've been playing all year so far, and just keep the momentum they have, they will make the playoffs this year. And plus, they got one of the best, possibly the best prospect in baseball right now in the minors, Max Clark. Max Clark is one of the best hitters in the minors right now. He's averaging like 500, 400. It's insane. He's hitting phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player in the field as well. He's fast. Like every MLB player is fast, but he's just young, and these, you know how fast young guys are. They're fast, versatile, slide, dive, make plays anywhere. And he's a very versatile player. He's a great player in the field, great player behind the plate, and he just does what he needs to do to help the Tigers. He's going to be a great addition to them when they inevitably call him up sometime this year. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but when they do call him up, he's going to be a huge asset to help them win games and hopefully make a deep playoff push in the offseason. And I'm excited to see how the Tigers do going forward. That's all I got for this segment. Next segment and the final segment, we're going to talk about the Charlotte Hornets, a team that's got really no talk. No one really talks about them, and it's kind of a reason so. They're not a very good team. But I just wanted to talk about them for a little bit, see, give my takes on, what's going on over in Charlotte. And if they do even have, like a future, be a good team in the future. So we'll talk about that right after the break. Welcome back to the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Nolan Jamber. Today, we've had a wide variety of topics to talk about. NBA play-in, it started last night, talked about that. Talked about the play-in games tonight. Talked about some NIL, the Detroit Tigers, and to end it off, we're talking the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets are one of the teams in the NBA. They are definitely one of the teams in the National Basketball Association. They, again, have missed the playoffs. They don't tend to win games. I'll say that. They are very, they don't win games a lot. And there's a stat I saw yesterday, I want to say. The Charlotte Hornets this season, when they had LaMelo Ball, won 3 and I believe it was 23. Well, with LaMelo, 16-31. So, they won 19 games. Yeah, they're a team. They're in the National Basketball Association. They're a team for sure. But they're just a team that has really no future ahead of them. They really don't. LaMelo Ball is the most unserious basketball player ever. He still drops, 30 points a game. But as you can see by, the stats, he plays a lot, but it doesn't matter. Even when they had him, regardless, they had a losing season both times. 3-23 without him, that's a losing season, losing record. 16-31, that's also another losing record. The Charlotte Hornets are just I don't want to say it, but I will, a dysfunctional organization. They really don't have anything going on over there. Yeah, they got some pretty young stars. The kid out of Alabama last year, 2nd overall pick, great player. I literally had his name. I was calling him Brandon Ingram. That was not his name. But he's a great player overall. He's a forward, a great shooting forward for the Hornets. However, that doesn't really. They got some good players. You got LaMelo Ball, obviously the shooting guard. One of the best shooting. He was low-key snubbed. I'm going to say that. He was snubbed of an all-star this year because of how good he was playing. But I believe they didn't choose him just because, this team is just not good. The team itself, the Charlotte Hornets, are not a very good team. He got another guy, Miles Bridges, another great player. He has been a good player his entire career in Charlotte. I mean, he puts up good numbers, puts up good double-doubles most of the time he plays. Another great small forward for the Hornets. You have a vet. You got Taj Gibson, who said in the interview the other day that these young guys who really want to come to Charlotte, it's a gold mine. He said, and I quote, "It's a gold mine." I don't really know what he's referring to by saying gold mine, but I'm assuming it's not a good basketball organization because the Hornets really just don't have a good basketball organization. I'm going to keep saying that. I do, like, Charlotte fans, they definitely do go through a lot having to watch. I mean, they do enjoy it. I've never seen a Charlotte Hornets fan that's, like, really, like, tired of watching the Charlotte Hornets. I guess they're just kind of used to it. Every time I've talked to one, they say, yeah, no, it's all right. I don't mind watching them. They're a fun team to watch. Don't get me wrong. They are a very fun team to watch. A lot of, young stars, a lot of fun players, active players to watch who put up good numbers. But they just don't win games, unfortunately. They just don't have the skill to win games. And that's the problem. They literally have no bench depth. Their starting five is all they have. Even with one of them being out, their second string, their bench players, their 6th, 7th, 8th man, just aren't good enough to help compete, to help them win games. And one of the problems with the Hornets, though, was the fact that Michael Jordan was the owner of that organization for a few years. He made horrible draft picks. Yeah, he's a phenomenal player. Michael Jordan's probably the greatest basketball player of all time. But he's definitely not one of the greatest basketball owners of all time. He was a horrible owner for the Hornets. Made horrible decisions, like trading-wise, drafting players. He never made a decision, he never drafted a player that panned out for the Hornets. He always ended up being a bust, playing bad, trading them, and then they went on to be successful somewhere else. I mean, it just does kind of suck, having to see a team have all these players. You got all these stars. Miles Bridges, he's a star. I would say he'd be a star. LaMelo Ball, he should be an all-star. He wasn't, but, that's the voters. That's the all-star committee decision. That's not mine. You got a pretty good vet. Taj Gibson's a pretty good, big for them. Yeah, he's pretty old. He's been in the league almost as long as LeBron has. But he's helped the team, He's definitely helped the younger guys around him, kind of translate their play to, the NBA, help them adapt to playing, NBA basketball. The record doesn't show it, but they could maybe be a good team within the next few years. Maybe. Will they? I'm not really sure. I don't really follow the Hornets too well. I don't go out of my way to watch them. But every time I see them posted, on ESPN, it's either them losing by a lot or LaMelo Ball hitting a crazy shot. Just LaMelo has that signature one leg shot, shoot off his one leg and it goes in, the crowd goes crazy. Or the other times on NBA, their announcer. The announcer for the Hornets is probably the most ecstatic, electric guys you've ever listened to in your entire life. He's just always full of energy, and I would love to, sit down with that guy and just talk to him for hours. I would love to. He seems like a great guy. But the Hornets just themselves, the organization, really just don't have, I would say, a bright future. I mean, they definitely do have a future. Every team has a future. It's just a matter of if the Hornets will ever be, back to, making the playoffs. They used to, they made the playoffs constantly for a few years ago. Make the play-in a few times, playoffs, really in the late 2010s. But ever since then, since 2021, 22, they really haven't done much. They really haven't, to be honest. They haven't made a playoff, play-in, made any noticeable trades, any big-name trades that, help the team improve. So they just keep focusing around LaMelo Ball. And if that were them, if I were the Hornets, I think it's time to even though I just signed him to a multi-million-dollar contract, I would have tried to trade him away, try to get something out of him first, and then if worse comes to worse, sign him. But like I said, trade him if possible. Maybe try to trade Miles Bridges. I think he would be worth the trade. I think any team, he had some trouble in the past, but I think any team would see how he's a good basketball player and he has a good future ahead of him. And I do think the teams could see that and say, you know what, maybe we'll take a chance of him. Trade him for, maybe a few picks, like a pick or second-round pick or two, maybe a player. And the Hornets will take it. The Hornets are in rebuild mode for the past few years. And I think it's time that, they try to take it seriously now. They say, hey, we've been rebuilding for a few years now, and it's time that we try to, actually rebuild. Make an actual good rebuilding, organization, trade players, try to become, playoff team within the next 3 or 4 years, 3 or 4 seasons, and maybe try to get back to the way they were in the late 2010s, very early 2020s, in the 2021, 22, and that's it. And maybe that's like 2015. They were pretty good back then, but before they got LaMelo, they basically weren't nothing. But I don't know. The Charlotte Hornets are just kind of in the pit. I'd say like in a pit of despair. I wouldn't say a pit of despair, but they're in a spot where they have a lot to work on, and I'm not sure with the team they have surrounded with them right now, they're going to be able to do anything with it, or the organization. I think it's time for a clean sweep, reset, fire head coach, maybe GM, trade away their key players for some pick, compensation, money, whatever, and just try to become an organization that's meant to win games. They want to win games. Yeah, it's time to start trading players. And I think that time is after this offseason is the time to do it. And if they don't make any trades this offseason, I will come back on the show and say that they are an unserious organization and they will just never be a team that is competitive and a team that people should fear. They'll just never be that if they make no moves in this offseason. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see if they do. And let's see, if they want to be competitive or not. Only a matter of time. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. Your continuous support really means the world, so feel free to like, comment, and share. If you want to stay up to news with all stuff GSMC, make sure to follow us on our social media via Twitter/X, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, any social media site, we're on it. So make sure to follow us, stay up to date with all the news GSMC. And thank you for tuning in to the Dead Ball Sports Podcast. And I'll see you all very soon. Have a great rest of your day.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.